Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's your sis Tina Ricks, and we are here for episode 22 of Self Love Sundays. We are going to pick up where we left off 2 weeks ago, and that is with narcissistic abuse. Part three. Hey, come on in. How are you doing? How's everybody's weekend been? Have a good weekend. Try to do something for yourself. Did you do something for yourself today? It's not too late to do something for yourself today. Maybe you could take like a hot bath or something. All right. Hello. Let me turn on my comments so I can see if I get any comments. Okay. So if you're on the Tina Ricks personal page and you want to interact, ask questions, comment, I won't see them. So go to the Thought Positive Media page. That's Facebook. Instagram, I can see you. YouTube, you can see me. I can see your comments. All right. We're going to get started. So we're talking about narcissistic abuse. Part three. All right. So we're talking about the pain and confusion that the victim of narcissistic abuse goes through. We're talking about that today. So let's get started. Let's jump right into it. So why is the abuse, why does it cause someone to be so confused and painful? The pain that's felt isn't just a mental pain, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's right or wrong. That's going on too, but there's actually like a physical pain going on because when you're in one of these relationships, your cortisol is always raised. So that's that stress hormone is always triggered. It's always triggered. And what is that going to make you do? It's going to make you do things to cope, right? So you're trying to cope with all your stress. You've been in this state for so long, as long as you've been in a relationship, you don't even realize what's going on. You don't even understand what's going on because life is chaotic every day with a narcissist. Pretty much every day. There's like cycles. Okay, so all right. So why is it so confusing and painful? It's going to start talking about the narcissist and the empath. That is the most volatile coupling ever. And I was in a relationship with a narcissist, and I'm an empath. I'm a seriously highly sensitive empath as well. So yeah, so it says these are the worst relationships, and for some reason they're attracted to one another. As a result, the discarded partner tends to be loving, empathetic, and generous. Of giving. They're giving. So that's why it's so painful, because usually whenever you give and you help somebody, it's reciprocated, right? But in this case, you give of everything, your time, your, family planning, all of that doesn't matter, because that person can change their mind the next day and say, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be. And it's so confusing because you're like, do I fight for this? Do I try to fix it? So you try to fix it because it doesn't make sense, because that's not what should be happening in your relationship, right? You know how to have a relationship, right? Well, let me tell you something. No one in the history of man has been able to have like this happy and successful relationship with a narcissist. Relationships with narcissists just don't work. So don't beat yourself up if you had to divorce someone that had this personality disorder. And we don't want to beat up on people that have the personality disorder, but it is very volatile and it should be treated. So psychological and emotional depletion. So you're always in a crisis and you're the one that's supposed to be solving the problems. There's always something going on. If you try to address it with that person, they're going to say they didn't say that, or they're going to say you're lying, or it's always something, or you're crazy to bring it up, or no, I did not commit to that, you made it up. Or if you ask them and they do admit that they did commit to it, it's going to be that they dropped the ball because something that you did. So it's just constant. And then you got to pick your battles. Do I want to deal with this, or do I not want to deal with it? But you're still going through it on the inside, whether or not you address it with the narcissist or not. Okay. Trauma bonds. Trauma bonds are whenever the narcissist pulls away and devalues you, and then all of a sudden he loves you again. You're contemplating leave the relationship, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna try harder. Or she is like, I'm gonna try harder, I'm gonna be committed this time, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to be good, right? And you go back because you're like, that's all that you've known. And you really do love this person. So you are really hoping that they're being honest this time. So that cycle keeps going. It keeps going. So horribly hurt and then loved. Horribly hurt, convinced that things will change, and then loved again. So that's the trauma bond. It's pretty equivalent to Stockholm syndrome. Whenever someone that has been kidnapped has been with their kidnapper for so long, they kind of bond because they're stuck with them. No closure. That's another part of the pain and confusion. A narcissist is never going to apologize, admit to what they did. Crazy town just keeps going if you stick around. Crazy town never ends. It never ends. It's just constant. So you have to detach and just pull back. But there's no closure like you would typically have, in a normal relationship, in a normal breakup or ending of any relationship, be it business, personal, romantic. Typically what happens? You talk it out, you discuss where you were wrong, where they were wrong, where you were right, what you asked them to improve on, and you waited around and they didn't, and they say, okay, I understand, I wish you well, let me know if you need anything. You split. That's not going to happen with a narcissist. So you're not going to have closure. So the grieving process is going to be kind of awkward because you have to kind of wrap your head around everything that just happened. And if you haven't realized whenever you're leaving the relationship that you were in a relationship with a narcissist and it hit you once you remove yourself from the situation for some time. And the narcissist will try to hoover and get you back. And you may go through that cycle a few times where you do go back and then you finally detach. When you finally detach and you look at what you were in, then that's whenever you'll realize that you were in hell, psychological hell, emotional hell. And you'll see all of the different things that this narcissist has been doing. Okay, so there's not going to be any closure. You're going to have been completely traumatized whenever you leave. You must heal. You have to heal. A lot of times people that are in relationships with narcissists are codependents. They want to help someone. They want to they get validation and self-esteem by knowing that they're helping someone else, It's not healthy because you can be addicted to helping people and then you haven't healed and you go and get double hurt because you jump into something again because you're so used to being with someone. That's dangerous too. So you got to heal. You got to admit how hurt you are. Admit, what all happened in the relationship. And just try to process everything that happened in the relationship as well. All right, so pain and confusion. Here's the next part. So out with the old, in with the new. So rubbing further salt into the wound, the abuser appears to move on romantically with lightning speed and in a very public manner. It is totally baffling to the jilted partner who is neither the time to understand that the relationship is over nor the reasons why. So the narcissist is going to lie to the new supply. That's the new woman or that's the new man if it's a woman, right? They're going to lie. They're going to say all these things, and the person that they left don't even really know that they are broken up with this person. And sometimes they find out, I love you too. Sometimes they find out publicly. That's what they're saying, like publicly, like what? What's going on here? Who is this person, right? And you didn't know, right? So that's going to look crazy. Now the person said that you're crazy, right? So the new person is convinced that you are indeed loco. And you're happy being single. Oh, let's see. I've been keeping my distance. It could be people in your family too. Yes, Lord. Yes, indeed. I'm happy. Happily single. I concur. And yes, the reason why you would even end up in a relationship with a narcissist is because most likely you were raised in a narcissistic household. So that you're used to having that no love. You know what I'm saying? Like dysfunctional type of love. You've been abused. Your brain has already been trained to deal with that type of personality, even though it's uncomfortable. Like you've made adjustments to survive and learn to deal with difficult people. And then what you're going to realize is that if you don't really truly heal and find yourself in all of that mess and all of that trauma that keeps stacking on top of each other, you will continually attract narcs from all walks of life, at work, at school, in your love life. You're going to continue to run into narcs until you face what happened to you, heal your inner child, and do that work. Because you can spot these characteristics. You really can if you have, knowledge about what's going on and not in denial about everything that happened. Okay, so on top of the fact that the person has not given you any closure, on top of the fact that they're parading around with their new supply, they have smeared your name. This is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. A smear campaign, especially if you don't have a solid tribe and you came from like a foster care situation. Someone smearing your name, you don't have anyone to vouch for your character. Not one person. And the person that's supposed to have been so close to you, whether it's a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, family member, is telling these nasty lies on you. Most of the times they're projecting. What they do is what they're going to go tell everybody that you did. And watch it. You think, okay, I'm out the relationship. I'm going to let people know how I was treated, right? Watch it, because this person's been setting you up for the past 2 years. They've been setting you up for the past 2 years, smiling in your face. So when you want to go tell somebody and say, SOS, help me, like this is what's happening, they're not going to want to touch you. They're not going to want to look at you. They're going to look at you suspiciously. They're not going to be welcoming to you. If you're an empath, you're going to feel that closed off, nasty energy towards you. And you're going to be like, damn, what's going on here? That narc can still hoover again after the smear campaign and try to come back and say, oh, things didn't work out with that girlfriend. And you're still so distraught, didn't get closure, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, maybe we can work this out again. Hopefully you're not that broken that happens, but that does happen to people every single day, because they feel trapped, because nobody likes them. Nobody trusts them in their circle, in their world, and most people don't leave their little world. They stay in that little world their whole life. And it's very painful. It causes people to be suicidal, and it causes people to commit the act of suicide, to be that nasty to someone that you're supposed to have love. That's what confuses the victim, because the victim's like, I loved you. I went into debt for you. I fought your battles for you. How? And then they have a problem with the relationship with God, because 1 + 1 didn't equal 2. C didn't come after B. A prayer, I prayed and nothing was answered. It's a really sad situation, because that person has to realize nothing that is supposed to go in a certain order is going to go in a certain order with this type of a personality. And if you don't get strong about the fact that this person has a disorder, it can mess up your relationship with God, whoever your higher power is. It can mess up your relationship, because 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 at all. So you got to watch these warning signs, and there's a lot of them. All right. So villain and victim roles are reversed. So they're the hero, they're the protagonist, and you're the villain. You're the one that did everything. Everything is your fault. If they get left with the kids, they'll say, see, she's a narc. She don't care about these kids. Or he's a narc. He don't want to see these kids. He don't come see these kids. He's all about himself. She's all about herself. That person that's out there being all about themselves is healing and trying to recoup the years of the money they lost, the identity that they lost, and find themselves again. They need to separate from all of that. Yes, you are going to have to be with the kids more often, probably, because that person is completely broken, and they got to figure out how to piece everything back together and glue it back together. You only get one heart, you only get one body, you only get one soul, you only get one mind. You got to stitch all that shit back together and keep going. All right. So ongoing psychological abuse. The abuse does not stop after the discard, especially if you have kids. So they'll keep berating you. They'll keep, badgering you. You'll try to like keep the lines of communication open a little bit. And, they're going to be like attacking you verbally by text, most likely, and just going hard at you. And it's like, okay, the only reason these lines are open are for the kids. So I think we got to close them because this is taking me into a wrong place. I'm vibrating really low right now, even though I didn't say anything back to this person. I'm bothered by all of that. That was very disturbing. Disturbed my day, right? So you got to learn to have no contact. Even if you have kids with the person, no contact. That's this. There's a concept in difficult relationships, difficult parenting situations. It's called parallel parenting. So one person's parenting over here, one's parenting over here, and the kids, go visit their parents, and you're like emailing. Sometimes emails don't even work. You got to use like something set up by the state, and you communicate through their communicator that keeps a track of everything that you guys are saying to each other, because it can get so nasty and volatile with a narcissist. Okay, let's see. Other major issues to contend with: kids as weapons. Remember, we're still talking about the confusion and pain, so it's just a mess. Kids as weapons. So the kids are used as a pawn. The kids are used to get an emotional rise out of you, and sometimes the narcissist plants children with you to use them as weapons because they already know what they plan to do to you. They plan to discard you, and they're gonna get you into a situation where you have their kids. Again, the narcissist didn't pick you because you were wimpy, because you were incapable. The narcissist picked you because you were strong, you had strengths, and you were able to build them up so they know that you can build your own self up. So they chose to have kids with you because they wanted to mate with someone that had some good DNA. They know that they're trash on the inside, right? But they're still going to discard you. So they have kids by somebody that they can like brag about that they have kids with, or be like, like they're complaining about you, but the person is like, it's someone to make them look validated whenever they leave, like, oh, okay. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like, I want to be able to talk about somebody that has something going on and say that they're bad, and hopefully I'll be believed so I can get into my next relationship. Let's see. Ongoing psychological abuse. We did that one. Lack of training, treatment, protection. Unlike trained soldiers returning from high intensity conflict with PTSD, narcissistic personality disorder abuse victims have no prior training. The trauma that they experience is dealt with alone. You really don't have anyone to talk to. So if you're in this relationship, you're in this relationship, right? And you ain't talking to your friends. It's been years since you talked to those friends. Those aren't your friends no more. Those are just people that you know. You're embarrassed, or you're hurt, or you're fat. Something's off because you've been like overeating, or you're stressed out all the time. You're not even taking care. You don't even know who you are. You don't want to go around those people because the person that they knew doesn't exist anymore. So if you go around them, it's just going to be awkward anyway. The energy is going to be off because you are just in a sunken place. This person literally has you one step from hell. One step from hell. One step from losing everything at all times. Don't feel secure like the person's really going to change. They'll play that game, and as soon as you start to get kind of confident, they'll pull that thing out from under you and let you know you're not worthy. No closure. They mentioned no closure again. This must be resolved in what's called self-validation. So that's how you heal. Self-love and self-validation. That's the only way to heal. All the work has to be done from within to heal from this thing. You can't look for anybody to help you from, outside of yourself. You have to help yourself. You have to love yourself. And when you love yourself correctly, you're going to have healthy boundaries, and you're going to be able to spot some of this stuff. If you were deep into it and you're smart and empathic, you'll catch on sooner than later, and hopefully you'll never fall this deep into a situation with a narcissist again. I feel for everyone who's been through a situation like this, because I have too, and I'm a strong, I almost cussed. I don't want to say the B word, but I'm a strong lady, And this shit broke me. It broke me because I put so much work into the relationship. I put so much money and work and everything into the relationship, you know. We're on the personal part of the episode now. So much work, workshops, meditation seminars in Santa Monica, beautiful hotel suites. I mean, just so much gifts, you know, communication, family meetings, go down the list. Okay. Trips, family planning. You wanted to have kids. I said, okay, that's fine. Okay, let's plan it. And to watch it like blow up in your face, and you have no control over what's going on. You're like someone that is always in control, and everything is working fine, and you know how to work your shit, you know? And the person that's just supposed to be a person just keeps blowing up everything that you set up. Everything's blown up. At that point, you just realize, actually, I'll give a personal testimony about that too. I was like, my twins, we have twins together that are like almost 2.5, this ex. And I had a dream, like I was falling off of like a cliff. It was dark and I was just falling. I was in such a low place at that time too. And that's whenever I woke up and realized, you're at rock bottom. You are at rock bottom emotionally. You have to figure out how to climb out of this thing. You are at rock bottom. That's when I started researching the personality. This is 2019. I started researching what is going on. And then I realized every single thing checked off. And I realized that I was in hell on earth. That's what I realized. And once you realize that, there's no cure for what you're in. You have to leave. You gotta go. You gotta get away. Now, what's gonna happen is, if you're a strong person, I'm speaking spiritually now, so if you're not spiritual, just ignore this part. What's gonna happen is the devil's gonna know one area where he can attack. He knows what he can do to you. He knows that you're empathetic. He knows that you can feel energies. He knows that you can, if you're super empathic, you can even read minds sometimes, okay? So he's gonna send you all of this narcissistic, strange, bullying, nasty energy to throw you off, because you're supposed to be self-validating yourself, right? You're gonna get hit with the biggest test ever, okay? Because you pulled yourself out of something, and that dark world is upset that you got away. So that force is going to try to come in and pull you back in some kind of way. If it's not from a lover, it might be from a friend. If it's not from a friend, it might be from a business partner. If it's not from a business partner, it might be from a group of people. If it's not from a group of people, it might be from social media. Something is going to try to take you back down. And you got to stay strong. You got to stand strong, and you got to stand firm. You got to stand firm. You got to love yourself. You got to validate yourself. And you got to keep moving. You know what's real and what's not. Don't ever let anybody play you. I don't care if it's 40,000 people trying to play you. Don't ever let anybody play you. You know what's real in here and up here. I don't care how much the person gaslights you. What's gaslighting? You know that you feel a certain thing, and the person's telling you, no, that's not how you feel. You shouldn't feel that way. You're lying. Or you know that something happened. The person's telling you that didn't happen. And that you're this. You are horrible. You are bad. You are whatever they can come up with to try to make you feel unworthy. It's deadly. It's deadly. It's deadly. And it's led to a lot of suicides. This is like a silent type of killer. So the person that is doing the abusing, gets away with it. 9 times out of 10, they get away with it. And they leave someone feeling like, how do I crawl out of this? Everyone doesn't have the means to crawl out of the situation. Typically, you've lost everything by the time you realize that you have to walk away from this narc. Everyone doesn't have this oil well of income to tap into to get themselves back on their feet. They have nothing. They leave homeless. A lot of times they leave homeless. A lot of times their credit's messed up. Cars have been repossessed. The person said that the narc said that they were paying the bills and they didn't. The car got repossessed. The kids don't have money to go to daycare. Now what's going to happen? The whole family is just dropping down to like a really bad situation where the next thing you know, like the Department of Children Protective Services comes in because mom doesn't have anyone to watch the kids. There's not enough money. So all of that stuff can happen from a narcissist. All of that. So don't be desperate to fall in love with someone, and don't get all excited whenever somebody says that they love you and they want to be with you forever. I know when you've been single for a long time, women and men, it can be like, yay, somebody finally loves me and wants to be with me, you know? Yay, you know, I'm gonna jump into that shit fast, you know? Don't do it, man. Especially whenever you see signs. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. All right, let me see what else I can cover real quick. We talked about that already. Do I got questions? Questions? I don't see any questions. Okay. Okay, guys, y'all got Truth Serum Tina tonight. So let's see what else I can talk about. Healing, the healing process. You know, at this point, you probably could be diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, right? So little things will trigger you to feel like you're back in that relationship. And then you may like overreact to certain things that, let's say you get into a new relationship. You may overreact to something that wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I don't ever want that to happen to me again. And you're almost like ready to pull back because you don't want to get caught in that again. So don't be afraid to fall in love and trust, because that's what the narcissist wants you to do, to never trust again and fight off love because you're afraid that you'll get duped again. Don't do that. Don't do that. Heal and realize that you didn't do anything wrong by loving someone that you didn't do anything wrong by loving this person. You just so happen to fall in love with someone that had no capacity or ability to love you, is angry on the inside, feels inferior, and destroys everything for fun. Like a big bad kid, big bad toddler. And you're always trying to like tell them, no, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it. All you're doing is like correcting, you know, a little kid the whole time. That's not love. That's not love. Love shouldn't feel that way. So if you're ever feeling that way in a dating situation, and you're already doing those things, leave, because it's just going to get worse. A lot of times we stay thinking, oh, this person is see that I'm devoted to them, so I'm going to stay. Don't do it. Leave. All right, guys, that's all that I got today. That's all that I got. That's all I got. This is a sensitive topic for me. I can cover more, but honestly, guys, I'm going to take a break. I have to work on some music. And I'm going to take a break from Self-Love Sundays for about 4 to 6 weeks, starting after this one. You are more than welcome to email me at gethelp@betterpathcounseling.com. I do free sessions. If you don't have any insurance or something like that, you need to talk. You are more than welcome to do that if you need to talk about this. If you do have insurance, Better Path Family Counseling and Consulting. We have a group practice. We have men, white men, white women, black women, San Antonio, Austin, Houston. So feel free to give us a call and we can help you with whatever you got going on and help you process everything, okay? I promise I'll come back and I'll do more of these, but it's going to be, you know, a month to 2 months. I say 4 to 6 weeks, could be 4 to 8 weeks. I got a lot to do with the Tina Riggs Music Project, and I got to be able to focus. And a lot of times I have to do that work on the weekends, you know. So a lot of times my spirit is wanting to prepare for Self-Love Sundays, like on Friday. So my mind's diverted and it's not like planning to go to the studio, or I'm like, okay, I want to, you know, kind of get myself ready to talk about this stuff. This stuff is emotional. It's emotional. And whenever you got some other things going on in your life and other areas that are stressful, it's like you open up this can of worms to all this stuff. This stuff isn't fun. It's not fun stuff, you know, but it's good to talk about. And it's good to know that someone has been through that and has made it out of that, and they're okay. I'm okay. I'm okay today. And I'm thankful to God for that. I'm thankful to God because I believe that if I stayed, I could have lost everything. My companies, everything. So I'm glad that I got out whenever I did and realized it was time to go. So anyway, guys, I love you guys. I'm going to miss you guys. I love doing this. I love doing this. It takes a lot of preparation, and it takes some time on the weekends. And I got the little ones, the twin sisters and stuff, and I want them to hang out with me on Sundays if I'm not, in the studio or filming or anything like that. So we're going to take some time for family time and for working on the Tina Riggs Music Project. Guys, if you're on IG, go on IG and check out the Tina Riggs Music Project series section. And check out some of the songs that we've been doing. Okay, this is going to be a 4-volume project. There's probably about 22 songs or so. So each volume will have like 4 or 5 songs on it. There'll be 4 of those rolling out the rest of this year. So look forward to that. Love you guys. Peace, love, and light. Take care. Bye.